Hey everybody, this is Laura from the Scarlet Letter Book Blog at hawthornescarlet.blogspot.com. And this is my pug Egon, and this is my sixth time recording my vlog to talk about The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. So I read The Fault in Our Stars kind of pretty quickly after it came out. I pre-ordered my copy as soon as I heard that John Green would be signing all of the pre-orders, and I am a big fan of John Green. I loved Will Grayson, which is one of the books that I read. Okay, you got one down. Um, it was one of the books that I read as I started to get back into reading young adult literature. I hadn't read a lot of young adult literature since I was a young adult. I had, read a few things, but I was in school and I wanted to get back as I was starting to book blog. My lighting is super weird here today. As I was starting to book blog, I wanted to get back into reading a little bit of young adult lit because so many people in the blogosphere were saying so many great things. So one of the first books I read that I thought was just really, really spectacular was Will Grayson, and then I just kept reading some more John Green. So I read Looking for Alaska, which was great. I read An Abundance of Catherines, which I liked. I have Paper Towns left, and I don't want to read it because I want to save it. But I was really excited to read The Fault in Our Stars, partially because when I heard what it was about, which is two teenagers who fall in love, and they both are very sick with the narrator of the story has terminal cancer, and she meets a boy in her support group. And I was a big fan of Lurleen McDaniel books. I don't know about anybody else when I was growing up, so it reminded me of that same kind of storyline of something that I had read as a young adult. Reading this, I, again was reminded how much I wish that there had been John Green when I was a teenager, which isn't to say anything bad about some of the books that I truly did love as a teenager and still have incredible memories of. But I think John Green, just as a voice for sort of the awkwardness of teenage years, and especially for bookish type teenagers, which I know that one criticism of John Green is that his characters are too precocious, right? That they're unbelievably sort of hip and well spoken and all of these things, but to me, yes, maybe, but I would have loved to be friends with any one of his characters, and I just, he just is perfect to me. He's a perfect writer for young adults. I really, really, really think he's excellent. And so, commence the gushing. I loved this book. I loved it. I sat down to read it, and I knew because I had read reviews that it was going to be good. I trusted the reviews that I read. And I sat down and I literally only got out of my chair maybe twice during the time that I was reading it. And I couldn't take myself away from it. I mean, I wanted to read it again immediately after I finished it, and I had all of the feelings as I was reading it. I cried, I mean, really kind of ugly crying, and I laughed out loud, and it was just incredibly excellent. I highly recommend it. I'm almost positive, unless I have a really exciting reading year, which I would love to have from this moment forward, that it will be on my top 10 of 2012, because I just really, really liked it. And not because I didn't like it in the same way that I like some of the literary fiction that I read. And not that John Green's not literary, because he is. His characters are very well spoken. His use of language is excellent. He's a really, really good humorist, which I think is incredibly difficult. And, but I wanted to read this book. I wanted to read it, and I wasn't embarrassed by the writing in any of it. And I didn't feel like it was dumbing itself down to be a book for teenagers at all. I thought it was great. Wish I had read it when I was a teenager, but I'm happy that I got to read it as an adult. So now I will stop the gushing, and I will say thank you for watching my blog and hearing my just one, really loved it, about The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. So pick it up, read it if you're a fan of young adult lit. It's sad, but it's also funny, and yep, that's about it. So signing off here, Laura from the Scarlet Letter blog. Talk to you soon.